وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Last week we had talked about hasad, which is one of the major diseases of the inside of the batin of a person. And it's a killer disease basically. Hasad may be for a worldly thing, but it is so serious that it, in the words of the Prophet ﷺ, shaves off the deen of someone. So it's something about that relates to the dunya. You may be doing hasad to someone about the thing of dunya, but it is shaving off our deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. One thing that should also be said when we talk about hasad is that we should worry about safeguarding, protecting others from our hasad, but also worry about safeguarding ourselves from others' hasad. So it's not like we would say that we are doing our 5 times salah, we are doing wuzu, we are staying pure, and no matter what somebody does, now nothing can harm us. No. Nobody becomes a Superman by following the basics of deen. In the last 2 surahs of the Quran, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq and Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is teaching the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most pious person to ever have lived, to seek Allah's protection from these things, from hasad, from people's evil doings, from magic, those kind of things. So we should seek protection. If we feel that we have hasad towards other people, jealousy towards other people, we should sit before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for dua. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, that hasad essentially is that we are not pleased with the will and command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we are not pleased with the will and command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we are basically questioning things, that why did somebody get this thing or why did somebody not get that thing. The only way to change the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if somebody has something that we really want for ourselves, we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And dua is the only thing that has the capacity to change the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, for example, written that such and such person will get such and such money, and we will not get that kind of money, or such and such person will get anything pertaining to word or deen, the only thing to change that is dua. That we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, I want that for that which you have given to that person, I also want that for myself. And that is called ghibta. Ghibta is that person, you are not worried about them getting it or losing it, but you want that for yourself as well. So ghibta is something that is recommended, that is a praiseworthy thing, especially in matters of deen. If somebody is ahead of us in deen, then we should do ghibta on them. What is ghibta? That we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have a longing in our heart that whatever they have, may Allah give us that as well, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that. The other thing that I said just in the beginning is that we should seek protection from the hasad of other people, because hasad is something that can harm us. It's not like we are Tarzans and nothing can harm us. Hasad, Ainil Lamma, the other thing is bad side, evil side of people. Ainil Lamma, these words occur in the hadith, Ainil Lamma. And this is a reality that people, the Prophet ﷺ himself has seek protection from it, and younger kids, it comes about Sayyidina Hussain radiallahu anhu, that the Prophet ﷺ would do dam on him and give him Allah's protection against Ainil Lamma, a bad, evil side. So these things also can harm us. And the Prophet ﷺ has said this, there are several hadiths to this effect. In one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ has said that in my ummah, many deaths will occur because of this Ainil Lamma, because of this bad side. So we should seek protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from these things. A very simple way that has been taught in the hadith is that the last 3 surahs of the Quran, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, complete surah, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, every morning and every evening. 3 times we should recite each of these and blow on our hands and pass it over our body. Prophet ﷺ has said that this will suffice for your protection from every single thing. be it a bad side, be it magic, be it hasad, be it a direct harm from, visible harm from a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for example, insects and all that kind of stuff. Prophet ﷺ has said that it will suffice for protection for every single thing. So this is something that we should keep in mind. The other thing is that there's other things, the simple ones. For example, this A'udhu Billah and Bismillah that we recite before the Quran. These are very powerful in a way. I don't know, we shouldn't call it charm, but these are very powerful words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we can use, words that we can use to get protection from these things. A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, or A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem is to seek protection from shaitan, but we could say about anything. A'udhu Billahi Min Fana and Fana. A'udhu Billahi Min Nafsi, from my own self. A'udhu Billahi Min Aynil Lamma, or in our own language. Similarly, to give in protection, in Allah's protection, the Prophet ﷺ has said that read Bismillah over anything that you are worried about, you are concerned about the protection of, read Bismillah over it. So our Mashayikh say that whenever you get a good thing, the first thing that you should do is, I give it in Allah's protection. Bismillahi ala fana. Bismillahi ala. The Prophet ﷺ has advised the words, very comprehensive thing. Bismillahi ala nafsi, over my own self. Wa ala, Bismillahi ala deeni, over my deen. Wa ala nafsi, over myself. Wa ala waladi, over my children. So wa ala ahli, my family. These are comprehensive words that we give everything in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other, Bismillah la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama. About that, there was a Sahabi who had narrated this from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in fact, Sayyidina Khalid ibn Walid rahimahullah radiyallahu anhu, he went to a battle, and it was a battle against Christians. So the Christians had their army, and they had a huge army. And one night before the battle, before the actual fight, their religious pastor or whoever came and met Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu anhu as a I don't know what I should call it, hamdard, as somebody who has mercy for these people. And he came and said that, why are you fighting us? Tomorrow in the morning, all of you are going to die, because even if we die, if one of our swords touches you, you will definitely die, because we have dipped our swords in the very strongest of poisons. So even if our sword touches you, you will die. Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid radiallahu anhu, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us a fraction of his iman, he said, what is that poison? Show me that poison. So he said, this is the poison, and he put it on the ground and it started boiling. So he said, put it on my hand. So that person put it on his hand. He said, Bismillahi la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama wa huwa as-sami'ul alim, and drank it. Needless to say, those people lost the battle. From Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid radiyallahu anhu, nothing happened to him. He died on his bed much later. So this is such a powerful thing. The Sahabi who was narrating it, he had palsy. Palsy? Paralysis of half of your mouth. He was narrating it, so a younger Sahabi or a younger person who was teaching it, he asked him that you are teaching us this kalima Bismillah la yadurru ma'asmihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama wa huwa as-sami'ul alim, and you yourself have paralysis. How did that happen? He said the words of the Prophet ﷺ cannot be false. The words of the Prophet ﷺ are not false. What happened was that day when I got this disease, I had forgotten to recite it. So these are little things that we don't give importance to, but even reading one Bismillah or even reading 3 surahs of the Quran in the morning with full belief and giving ourselves in the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a great effect. So these things should be used. Otherwise, yes, of course, everything is under the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, under the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but anything being under the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not mean that we shouldn't seek protection from evil. Of course, all evil, all good, everything comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but then what? Should we not ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection? If it is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we should even more ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for protection. Some people have this belief that, everything happens from the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so why do we need to worry about anything? It's not like that. Anyway, today inshallah we'll read some hadith about another a good quality the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given a lot of importance to, which is rifq. Rifq is softness of heart and softness of. So there's two things. The ayat that I recited as well in the beginning. فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ. Fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is soft. Fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, fadh is somebody who is soft. Fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is somebody who is, how should I say, fadh is Some fadh is a quality that relates to speech, and ghalid or ghilza relates to heart. So being hard-hearted is ghalid al-qalb, and being fadh or fadha is being somebody who has a how should I say, a harsh tongue, a bitter tongue, speaks in a bitter way to people. So these are two things that we should stay away from, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself has praised the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for not being that. In fact, the ayat that I recited, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that through the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not made you like a hard-hearted, a harsh person. Had that been the case, people would have run away from you. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not do it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala neither made you a person who is harsh of tongue, nor made you a person who is hard of heart. And that is all because of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the one thing that we should remember when we read this hadith, and in fact the first hadith also talks about it, is that this is a quality that is a sign of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a quality of the sign of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves someone, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants them with a special connection of himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gradually and to whatever extent starts to produce good qualities within their hearts. And those qualities are a direct derivation of the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, rahim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, merciful. Allah is merciful himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts to make those people merciful. Those similar is one this quality, rifq. عن عائشة أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن الله تعالى رفيق يحب الرفق. आयशा सिद्दीक़ा रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हा से रिवायत है कि रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि अल्लाह ताला खुद भी मेहरबान है, युहिब्बुर रिफ़्क़, और नरमी और मेहरबानी करना उनको बहुत पसंद है, बहुत महबूब है। वयुअती अला रिफ़्क़ मा ला युअती अला अल-अन्फ़ व मा ला युअती अला मा सिवाह। और नरमी पर वो इतना दे देते हैं जितना कि वो सख्ती और दरिश्तगी पर नहीं देते, और इतना दे देते हैं कि नरमी के सिवा किसी और चीज़ पर इतना नहीं देते। So the meaning of this more or less in English would be that narrated by Sayyidah Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu anha, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is Rafiq, somebody who has rifq. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves rifq, which is to be merciful to people, to be kind to people basically. And on kindness and on being soft, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give on being harsh. So if somebody is harsh, if somebody is dealing with people harsh, this is particularly about people who are involved in the work of deen, particularly. And also in relation to our families and in our dealings with our subordinates. So a lot of times, let me complete the translation of the hadith. The last sentence of the hadith says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives on softness that which He does not give on anything else. That which He does not give on anything else. So sometimes we think that when we are the right person, when we are on the right path, it is our inherent inborn right to be rude to people. We can say to them the right thing however we want because they are wrong and we are right. Na'uzubillah. And when I am saying this, it may feel that it's very obviously wrong, but this is to some extent found in, na'uzubillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us, in almost all of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in this hadith number 1, the Prophet is telling in this hadith that this is a quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that something is a quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, it is to tell us the high status of that quality. For example, it is said about durood, inna Allah yusalluna ala nabi, inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. The high status of durood is such that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is engaged in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, keeps on sending salawat, and so does the malaika. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the people that you should also join us in a way to send salawat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Similarly, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said that definitely, without doubt, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself is kind, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves kindness. Prophet ﷺ has said that those people who show kindness to people on the earth, creations on the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows to them kindness. And this is a story that I have narrated, I think I have narrated multiple times before. It's a very impressive one, that Hazrat, the writer of Fadail Amal, Maulana Sheikh Zakaria Kandhili rahimahullah, he was sitting, he had this bookstore, he had a publishing business, and he was sitting there, and there was this person who would constantly make mistakes. You would tell him to do something, and he would do it the wrong way. So at one time, Hazrat was sitting, and that person came after having made a mistake. So Hazrat scolded him, and he said that Hazrat ji maaf kar do, please forgive me. So Hazrat said, kitni dafa maaf karo, Hazrat Shaykh al-Hadith. So his uncle, Maulana Ilyas Kandhili rahimahullah, who initiated this work of da'wah and tabligh, he was sitting there as well. So he quietly said in his ear that Bhatije, utni dafa maaf kar do, jitni dafa Allah se apna maaf karna hai. Forgive him as many times, only as many times as you would like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you. And that is the reality of our kindness. If we are kind to other people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be kind to us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kindness we are very much in need of. Very much in need of. The words of the hadith clearly say this, that upon kindness Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not give on harshness, on being hard to other people. Hazrat Mufti Shafi rahimahullah, who was the Grand Mufti of Pakistan and a Khalifa of Maulana Hakim Muhammad rahimahullah, his sons Mufti Taqi Usmani, Mufti Rafi Usmani, repeatedly recall this, that Allah subhanahu, Hazrat used to say, Mufti Shafi used to say, he was a great mufassir of Quran as well, he used to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran to Sayyidina Musa and Harun alayhim as-salam, when they were going to Fir'aun. So who were they? Nabi of the time. What does that mean? The most pious person on the face of earth, the most beloved, the highest, the most noble of people on the whole, in the whole creation that is existing, that is living. And who are they going to? The worst person, Fir'aun, who has claimed to be God, na'uzubillah, who is not only that, which is the biggest zulm, of course, that's why I'm mentioning it first, but he is very cruel to people. He's killing people and torturing people in the most torturous of ways. And furthermore, there is one thing that we do not pay attention to, is that in his perfect knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, Sayyidina Harun alayhi salam will go to him multiple times, and no matter how they talk to him, and no matter what they show him as a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this person is not going to believe. This person is not going to bring faith. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew in his perfect knowledge. Even then, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling them in the Quran? قُولَا لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا. Go, both of you, and talk to him in a very soft tone. Hazrat Mufti Shafi Sahib rahimahullah used to advise these people, because they were being trained as a mufti under him, and now they are, mashallah, the giant muftis of Pakistan. He said that no matter what happens, no matter how pious you become, you cannot attain the station of a Nabi. So no matter how good of a person you become, you cannot be like Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam. That you cannot achieve a higher station than him. And no matter how poor and how worse of a state can the people that you are dealing with be, they cannot be worse than Musa. They cannot be worse than Fir'aun. When in that case Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that use a soft tone, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fully knows that these people are not going to bring faith. This Fir'aun is not going to bring faith. Even then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding these two prophets to go and talk to him softly. Imagine what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you. What would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want from you? So, and our case cannot be that. We can never say for sure about anyone that they are not going to get hidayah. So when advertently or inadvertently, we are using a hard stone, it is definitely 100% from our nafs. From our nafs. Our nafs, our inferior self, is telling us, maybe we feel it, maybe we don't feel it, but as an effect of that nafs, we are dealing with people harshly. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect me from that and protect all the listeners from that. عن جرير عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من يحرم الرفق يحرم الخير. जरीर रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु से रिवायत है कि रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से रिवायत करते हैं, आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, जो आदमी नरमी की सिफत से महरूम कर दिया गया वो सारी ही खैर से महरूम कर दिया गया. Jarir radiallahu anhu has narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that whoever has been deprived of kindness, they have been deprived of all, indeed they have been deprived of all goodness. عن عائشة قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أعطي حظه من الرفق أعطي حظه من خير الدنيا والآخرة ومن حرم حظه من الرفق حرم حظه من خير الدنيا والآخرة. आयशा सिद्दीक़ा रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हा से रिवायत है कि रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया, जिस शख्स को अल्लाह ताला की तरफ से नरमी की खसलत में से अपना हिस्सा मिल गया, उसको दुनिया और आखिरत की खैर में से हिस्सा मिल गया, और जिसको नरमी ना मिली वो दुनिया और आखिरत में अपनी खैर के हिस्से से महरूम रहा. Narrated by Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever gets their share in kindness, they got their share of goodness in this world, and the goodness of this world and goodness of the hereafter. And whoever is deprived of their share from kindness, they are deprived of their share of goodness in of the hereafter, of this dunya and of the hereafter. And Aisha قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يريد الله بأهل بيت رفقا إلا نفعهم ولا يحرمهم إياه إلا ضرهم. आयशा रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हा से रिवायत है कि रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने इरशाद फरमाया, नहीं इरादा फरमाते अल्लाह ताला किसी घर के लोगों के लिए नरमी की सिफत अता करने का मगर उनको उससे फ़ायदा पहुंचा देते हैं, और नहीं महरूम फरमाते अल्लाह पाक किसी घर वालों को नरमी की सिफत से मगर ये कि उससे उनको ज़रर पहुंचता है. Narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not intend to give softness and kindness to people, to a household, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them benefit through it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not take away this quality of softness from a household, but that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them harm through it. So one thing again I'm mentioning is that this is something that we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. That, oh Allah, give us kindness, give us softness of heart. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So this hadith, basically this one talks about, Hazrat has explained it in this way, this hadith and the next one, that this hadith talks about harm and benefit, and it is very apparent that a person who is hard-hearted, they generally derive harm out of their being hard-hearted and harsh-tongued. And the people who are soft-hearted and kind and are soft on others with their tongue and their heart, they generally get benefit. People come closer to them, people love them, people take care of them. So this is very apparent, and this is also confirmed from hadith. But the meaning does not restrict itself only to this world, but there is harms and benefits of the hereafter, which the first hadith also talked about, of course, that when somebody is kind to them, it is hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will show kindness to them in this world and in the hereafter. Now this hadith talks about particularly about the harm in the hereafter. عن عبد الله بن مسعود قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ألا أخبركم بمن يحرم على النار وبمن تحرم النار عليه على كل هين لين قريب سهل. अब्दुल्लाह इब्न मसूद रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु से रिवायत है कि रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने इरशाद फरमाया कि मैं तुमको ऐसे शख्स की खबर न दूं जो दोज़ख के लिए हराम है और दोज़ख की आग उस पर हराम है। हर ऐसे शख्स पर जो मिजाज का तेज ना हो, नरम हो, लोगों से करीब होने वाला हो और नरम हो। Narrated by Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that, should I not tell you about a person who is haram, who is prohibited for the hellfire, and the hellfire is prohibited upon them. Listen, that person is every single person, every such person who is not sharp of an attitude and is a kind person, and the one who becomes closer to people with their attitude and speaks softly. So hayyin and layyin are opposites to each other. Hayyin is somebody who's of a sharp attitude, sharp general the way they conduct themselves, and layyin is someone who's very soft on people, a soft attitude. Qareebin is somebody who has that personality, who people feel comfortable coming closer to him. People feel comfortable coming closer to him. They don't feel scared of that person. I'm recalling one hadith. The Prophet ﷺ has said that person, because of the hard attitude, because of the bad attitude of whom people feel scared to say the right thing to him. People feel scared to say the right thing to him. Prophet ﷺ has, if I remember correct, has mentioned that he will not get to even be close to Jannah. Jannah is prohibited on that person. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from being that person. And Sahal is basically easygoing. Somebody who is kind and does not mind things from people. Now in the explanation, one thing also should be remembered, that there are few people. So when we say that people should be, it is recommended that the Muslim should be somebody who is of such a personality that people like to come close to him and he interacts with people. It should be remembered that all of this should be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of this should be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. All our life and our death, of course our salah and our sacrifices, but our whole life has to be for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, when we talk about these things, the people who are very much affected by Western mentality, they would, na'uzu billah, they would think that yes, oh very good, now we found a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ is talking about things that are liked by Western people as well. This is a very sick way of thinking, because they are thinking in quite the opposite way. The Prophet ﷺ is the standard of civilization. The Prophet ﷺ is the standard of all good things. If these Western people, there's a difference between the Prophet ﷺ commanding us to do it and the reason why these Western people are doing it. They are doing it for their worldly benefit, because they have figured out that if we are nice to each other, our lives will be easy. The Prophet ﷺ is telling us that we should do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other thing is that this is, these things are relative. For example, there is a person, sometimes we see, there's even in the line of mashayikh, there are a few about whom we hear that they would basically literally not talk to people. They would stay in their own rooms, have minimal interaction with people, and they will live their lives like this. Number one thing that we have to remember is that we have to know what is going on, and we don't have to know it, but we have to realize what might be going in their heart. Somebody, this is a station. This is something when you are working hard on yourself. Sometimes, and this is a phase that comes on people where they are so engrossed in the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they are basically not, it becomes very hard for them to interact with anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Interact with anyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it becomes very hard for them. So if they are even saying Assalamu alaikum to a person that meets them, they are getting more reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than our whole full day of socializing and befriending people. The reason is that they are doing it with the sacrifice that they are doing because of the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is next level. We don't even have an idea of what they are doing. But of course the better person is who under the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has started loving people and for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started engaging with people. Our Shaykh, Dr. Mufti Imran Haq Kalyani, when I first saw him I was 9 years old and he was 27. He had come to our masjid. It is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in the beginning years there was a few instances spread out over a matter of years where I had seen him saying things to people not in the in the softest of manners, When I formally connected myself with him, when I did bad with him, and when I over a period of few months I developed a connection with him where the borders of the boundaries of takalluf started to go away a little. I asked him about those instances. That Hazrat, I had seen you, mashallah, you had a way of jalal around you. People would think twice before saying a stupid thing to me, basically. And that was a long time ago, and we had seen him, and now, mashallah. So I talked with him, and he said that yes, I used to have jalal, but under fear of jalal of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have quelled my jalal. I have suppressed my jalal. Because if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows His jalal to me, I'm just explaining His words, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows His jalal to anyone, we are in no way going to be able to withstand that. And under the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I have started loving people. In fact, in the beginning, this is a funny thing, you may use it, you may get any meaning from it, but in the beginning, Hazrat had advised me a few ayat to recite on water, recite them and blow them in water and drink them every day just to soften myself up. One of these ayat was فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. Anyway, one more hadith today inshallah, and then we'll make dua. عن حارثة بن وهب قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يدخل الجنة الجواظ ولا الجعظري. حارثة بن वहाब रज़ी अल्लाह अन्हु से रिवायत है, रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने फरमाया कि सख्त गो और दरिश्त खू आदमी जन्नत में नहीं जाएगा. Harith ibn Wahab radiallahu anhu has narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that a person who speaks hardly and a person who is of a bad attitude, a strict, harsh attitude, such person will not enter Jannah. One thing that should be remembered that alhamdulillah came to my mind right now is that in matters of deen, in matters of sharia, and in matters of religious discipline, the Sahaba have said that there was nobody more angry than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is said, this is a hard thing to happen, that you become so angry that your face turns red. Can you remember the last time it happened to you? Or can you remember the last time it happened to somebody that they became so angry that their face color changed? It is said about the Prophet ﷺ that when he would see something going against the Sharia, his face would become red, karrumman, like a pomegranate, right? Anar. And the other thing is that in Khasail of the Prophet ﷺ it is written that he had a vein here that would protrude at the time of anger. Prophet ﷺ's vein would become visible when he was angry. Those were a few signs that Sahaba would learn that the Prophet ﷺ is angry. The other thing to be remembered is that this anger was in matters of deen, not in matters of person. Let's read one more hadith. And Anas قال, it's a famous hadith, خدمت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم 10 سنين بالمدينة وأنا غلام ليس كل أمري كما يشتهي صاحبي أن يكون عليه ما قال لي فيها أف قط وما قال لي لما فعلت هذا أو ألا فعلت هذا. अनस रज़ी अल्लाह अन्हु से रिवायत है कि फरमाते हैं मैं मदीने में 10 साल हुज़ूर अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की खिदमत में रहा और मैं 9 उम्र लड़का था, इसलिए मेरा हर काम रसूल अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की मर्जी के बिल्कुल मुताबिक नहीं होता था। यानी 9 उम्र की वजह से कुछ गलतियां उनसे हो जाती थी, ऐसी तबीयत थी जैसे होती है बच्चों की। लेकिन 10 साल की इस मुद्दत में कभी आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने उफ कह के भी मुझे नहीं डांटा और कभी ये नहीं फरमाया कि तूने ऐसा क्यों किया या ऐसा क्यों ना किया। The translation more or less would be that Sayyidina Anas radiallahu anhu has narrated, he said that in Medina I lived 10 full years in the service of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I was a young boy, and therefore everything that I would do would not be in accordance with the will of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam because I was a little boy. But in these 10 years the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never ever even scolded me by saying just something as little as uff, a small expression. And never did he say to me that why did you do this or why did you not do this. So this was about the person of the Prophet ﷺ, his personal things, his personal matters. The Prophet ﷺ was the most forgiving person. In matters of deen, the Prophet ﷺ would become angry, just like I mentioned, like nobody else. He was the angriest person around. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us an understanding of deen and may give us the akhlaq qualities of the Prophet ﷺ. Recite some poetry inshallah and then make small dua. There's a few difficult words that let me tell you the meaning of first so you can fully understand it inshallah. You understand what as means, right? As, hope. As. The Mamnoon-e-Ihsan means to be indebted to someone, to be grateful to someone. Bismil is basically, Bismil is a word, when you sacrifice someone, you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar, right? That is what is derived from Bismillah. Somebody who has sacrificed themselves for someone. Rindi is somebody who drinks excessively. Sometimes we use these words, Rindi, drinking, and sometimes people have a hard time understanding why do we want to use these words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used these words. These are words of Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give people to drink in Jannah. And that means that when we use these words, we mean the drink of the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if it was a very bad thing, something that makes you crazy, makes you lose sense of the right and wrong, that is of course prohibited and despised. But something that makes you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself has used these words for himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will himself give those people to drink. And that happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not said that will not happen in dunya. There's another couplet of mine, जन्नत ही पे कुछ मौकूफ नहीं है पिलाना आपका, जन्नत ही पे कुछ मौकूफ नहीं पिलाना आपका, کیا خوب ہے واللہ دل میں آنا آپ کا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself grants himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives all the pleasures of this world to people. The other thing is Bazm Naz, Saqi is someone who gives you drink. Anyway. کبھی چلنا کبھی گرنا کبھی گر گر سنبھل جانا کبھی چلنا کبھی گرنا کبھی گر گر سنبھل جانا یہ تیری آس ہے کیسی مجھے دیوانہ کر ڈالا کبھی چلنا کبھی گرنا کبھی گر گر سنبھل جانا یہ تیری آس ہے کیسی مجھے دیوانہ کر ڈالا کبھی رونا کبھی ہنسنا کسی کو یاد کر کر کے کبھی رونا کبھی ہنسنا کسی کو یاد کر کر کے تیرا ممنون احسان ہوں مجھے دیوانہ کر ڈالا نظر آنا تیرا چھپنا کبھی چھپنا نظر آنا نظر آنا تیرا چھپنا کبھی چھپنا نظر آنا تیرے بسمل کو تیری دید نے دیوانہ کر ڈالا نظر آنا تیرا چھپنا کبھی چھپنا نظر آنا تیرے بسمل کو تیری دید نے دیوانہ کر ڈالا میرا انداز رندی دیکھ کر زاہد بہت ترسے میرا انداز رندی دیکھ کر زاہد بہت ترسے وہ ہائے کون ہے جس نے تجھے دیوانہ کر ڈالا وہ ہائے کون ہے جس نے تجھے دیوانہ کر ڈالا میرا راتوں میں یوں رونا میرے دن کا جلا پانا میرا راتوں میں یوں رونا میرے دن کا جلا پانا ہے نظر مرشد کامل مجھے دیوانہ کر ڈالا یہ حقیقت ہے کہ رات کو رونے سے دن کو جلا ملتی ہے یہ جو سمجھنا چاہے وہ سمجھ لے اس بات کو جو حضرات دس پہ چل رہے ہیں رات کو روئے بغیر رات کو اللہ کے سامنے بیٹھے بغیر کچھ حاصل نہیں ہوتا ہاں جب روتا ہے رات کو اللہ پھر اللہ تعالیٰ دن کو بھی روشن کر دیتے ہیں نہ پایا جس نے بھی یہ راز اسے حسرت رہی جائے نہ پایا جس نے بھی یہ راز اسے حسرت رہی جائے کہ پروانے کو خود آتش ہی نے دیوانہ کر ڈالا نہ پایا جس نے بھی یہ راز اسے حسرت رہی جائے کہ پروانے کو خود آتش ہی نے دیوانہ کر ڈالا میں تنہا ہوں میں تنہا ہوں میں تنہا ہوں اکیلا ہوں میں تنہا ہوں میں تنہا ہوں मैं तन्हा हूँ अकेला हूँ, मैं तन्हा हूँ, मैं तन्हा हूँ, मैं तन्हा हूँ अकेला हूँ। भरी महफिल में देखो फिर मुझे दीवाना कर डाला, भरी महफिल में देखो फिर मुझे दीवाना कर डाला। मेरे दिल में बसा कर आज बज़ में नाज साक़ी ने, मेरे दिल में बसा कर आज बज़ में नाज साक़ी ने, मेरे दिल में सजा कर आज बज़ में नाज साक़ी ने। ज़हे तक़दीर दीवानों को फिर दीवाना कर डाला, ज़हे तक़दीर दीवानों को फिर दीवाना कर डाला। अल्लाह की मोहब्बत में दीवाना बनना नसीब फरमाए। ये खुद हुज़ूर अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की हदीस से साबित है कि अल्लाह ताला का ज़िक्र करने वालों को ऐसा याद करो कि लोग तुम्हें दीवाना कहें। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन, वस्सलातु वस्सलामु अला सय्यिदिल मुरसलीन व बराअ लना अनफुसना व lam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin। Ya Allah, please forgive our major and minor sins, whatever we remember and whatever we forgotten, whatever we did in private or whatever we did in public. Ya Allah, whatever we did through our physical body parts or whatever we did through our mind or heart. Ya Allah, you know all of it. Ya Allah, you are Alim and Khabir, you are Alimun bidat as-sudur, you know whatever is existing in the chest. Ya Allah, please forgive all of that. Ya Allah, please protect us. Ya Allah, we've tried multiple times to stay away from disobedience. Ya Allah, but we always fall. Ya Allah, if we depend on our own strength, we are never going to become successful. Ya Allah, we seek your strength. Ya Allah, you are perfect and the strongest. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, if you give us your protection, Ya Allah, nothing can make us fall in the trap of sins, in the trap of shaitan, in the trap of nafs, and in the trap of our environment. Ya Allah, please, Ya Allah, write for us, Ya Allah, make for us your irada, Ya Allah, that we will be protected from sins, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, and if we ever, Ya Allah, commit sins again, we ever disobey you again, Ya Allah, we are making tawbah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are making tawbah on it right now, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are accepting before you, Ya Allah. We are declaring before you, Ya Allah, that whatever sins we commit, Ya Allah, those are not from us, Ya Allah. Those are, Ya Allah, under impression, in effect of our nafs or shaitan, or the surroundings of ourselves, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you know that we don't want to fall in the trap of sins, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are asking you for your protection, Ya Allah. This is what is within our control, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are asking you for your protection. Allahumma waqiyatan ka waqiyatil walid. Ya Allah, protect us like a small, Ya Allah, child is protected. Ya Allah, please protect us. Allahumma waqiyatan ka waqiyatil walid. Ya Allah, please protect us from sins, from disobeying you, Ya Allah. And whenever we disobey, Ya Allah, make us the ones who run back to you, Ya Allah, who do not find peace anywhere, Ya Allah, who cannot spend a moment without you, Ya Allah, who run back to you, Ya Allah, who run back to you, Ya Allah, as soon as we commit a sin, Ya Allah, as soon as we, out of our stupidity and negligence, Ya Allah, take us away from you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us the ones who run back to you, Ya Allah. Like a fish, Ya Allah, like a fish does not find peace anywhere except water, Ya Allah. And the bigger fish find more peace in deeper waters, Ya Allah. Make us like those, Ya Allah. Make us like those, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us your love, Ya Allah. Grant us, Ya Allah, make us the ones who love you more than our own selves, Ya Allah. More than the whole world, Ya Allah. More than what a thirsty person looks for a cold drink of water, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make us the ones who love you more than that, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, whatever we said and heard, Ya Allah, create good effects of that in our hearts, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, you are the one who can create effects in hearts, Ya Allah. All hearts are within your control, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, please change the direction of our hearts. Accept us in your path, Ya Allah. Accept us as mahafiz and protectors and servers of your deen, Ya Allah. Accept our progenies, our generations to come, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, create the good effects of our sitting here in generations to come, Ya Allah. Protect our generations, protect their iman, make them more in iman than ourselves, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Whatever we could ask, please grant us that. Whatever we did not ask and should have asked, Ya Allah, please grant us that. سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.